È appena tornato da Las Vegas.
Ci ho trascorso il weekend. Questioni private.
Christian conosce tutti.
Fico.
Conosce. No, oggi nessuno conosce più nessuno. Vedo della gente, tutto qui.
Mr. Ellis, you said that this is a cold, dead film, and it seems appropriate since it displays a bunch of cold, dead characters. Do you really feel that this is a portrait of today's youth in LA?
I didn't want to write a movie that's an indictment of a generation. No, this is just a story. And it's about one particular character, Christian, the James Deen character, who is, like most of my characters, a kind of extreme individual. And so I was thinking about him, and then what would he be doing in LA? Who would his girlfriend be? And then I myself was using those apps to hook up with people, and I thought I would put that into the script as well. And then I was also thinking about transparency. I was thinking about 50 Shades of Grey, which I was reading, so I named the character Christian. I just happened to find these unsympathetic people very compelling. I don't need a character to be sympathetic for me to be compelled by them. I just need them to be interesting to me.
Lei è Tara. Sì. È sexy, vero? Mi piacciono le cose complicate.
Ma non sei geloso?
No, non sono mai stato geloso.
By the time we started this movie, he wasn't James Deen, the porn actor. He was Christian, the character. And therefore, working with him was no different than working with any other actor. In fact, it was probably a little easier because he has such a ingrained work ethic. You know, if it's possible to have a Calvinist work ethic in the field of adult films, he has it. So that part was easier than with another actor.
I read your story and I found it very interesting. You said that you decided to become an adult film actor very early on, like when you were a kid.
As long as I can remember, it's something I always wanted to do, and like I mean, I've always been very hypersexual. When I was in preschool, I was the kid like humping the pole on the jungle gym, and in kindergarten, I learned about what sex actually was, and then obviously I didn't have sex, but I was always very enamored and excited by it, and as long as I can remember, it's been my dream.
And what's the big difference between being in an adult film and in a mainstream movie? I mean, did you have to unlearn something that you learned on the other sets?
The difference is really the sex. In adult movies, you emotionally and mentally drain yourself with all the dialogue, and then you physically drain yourself with all the sex. And in mainstream movies, you spend a little more energy mentally and emotionally with all the dialogue and building the character and really analyzing how the character is going to be and all these things like that. But other than that, it's very, very similar. In Hollywood, I feel like actors are objectified, but no one likes actors. Actors are idiots. Actors are meat puppets. Like, everyone makes fun of actors actors are horrible. In the adult film world, the performers are performers, and people respect them. And if anybody says they're uncomfortable with anything, everything ends and everything stops. And so it's kind of like, what can we do to make this movie? The artists and the people that are making the movie are using the actors as objects in order to make their project the best they can, opposed to adult films where it's everyone together as a group coming together to create this piece of erotica for the viewer to then enjoy.
Which was the poster you had hanging on your wall when you were a teenager, when you were growing up?
As far as movies, or just posters?
As far as movies, but...
I had a 6-foot poster of Jim Morrison above my bed. I had pictures that I drew, portraits I drew myself by hand with a No. 2 pencil of John Lennon, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, and then I was working on Paul McCartney.
So you were a music lover?
Yeah, I was more of a music lover than a movie buff. I liked movies, but I like movies to enjoy. I like to watch them and be entertained. I don't like to study them. Music, on the other hand, I find very interesting.